Okay, we want you, and I say we, I think the audience wants this. We want you, Del Jackson, to say one nice thing about John Bird. Maybe one thing you miss about John Bird.
John Bird has all of the traits that most people would assume are made up by a human male.
I don't know what that means either.
What the hell does that mean, Dale?
Hey now, everybody. Hey now. Welcome, everybody, to the show, baby. Yeah. John Bird, Tampa Tony.
Yes, sir.
Everybody in the house. Everybody having a good day? Everybody okay?
Yep, took my Adderall. I'm ready to take on the world.
Woo!
So John Bird's on Adderall. Tony Gump's on methylene blue.
Methylene blue.
What are you on?
I'm not on anything.
You're high on life.
Well,
baby.
I'm going to do the methylene blue, but I got to order it. I was waiting for Tony to be the guinea pig to see how it worked.
Oh, it works.
And he's jacked up, so I'm like, oh, I want some of that.
Man.
I want some of that.
I would take some, but it's probably Tony told me to be a little strong. I'd run around in circles, pass out, and piss myself. So.
And you would piss blue, by the way.
Oh, that's right.
This is true.
So you'd stain your pants. There'd be no hiding it.
Yeah. That's frightening.
Just buy some methylene blue and some pants. Like an extra pair of pants.
Well, I mean, what will the Adderall and the methylene blue do together? What if my head explodes?
Yeah, I think it'd be all right. I think it'd be all right.
So say you.
So, over the past few days, we've had a situation with Cumulus Media.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing to happen since John Bird got fired was a transition that
You mean downsized?
The biggest Cumulus scandal since we downsized.
Yes.
It's better. At the end of last week, Dale Jackson announces on his show that he is leaving Talk 99.5. And I believe his exact words were something along the lines of, I would tell you guys I'm going to miss you, but I won't. Bye. And he ended the show. That's what I remember. And then everybody starts hitting up. They're asking, like, what's replacing Del Jackson? Are you getting 4 hours? And so then I announced I'm now a 4-hour show from 10 to 2. And I felt like there was a lot of things left on the table from Dale Jackson's departure. He didn't seem very specific about it.
Right.
And ever since then, people have been asking me questions. And first of all, I don't have the energy to answer them. Second of all, I don't have the answers. So I thought, what better way to find those answers than to bring in the one and only Dale Jackson himself. Dale Jackson! Yeah.
Hey now.
There he is. What's up, man? How's your new life?
It's good. It's good. I mean, the amount of change going on here is really not all that much for me. But I am enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a fun week so far. It's only been a couple of days. But for a while, I was doing another show after my show in Birmingham. I was filling in. I was doing a favor for some people in Chattanooga. And after a while, they're like, why don't you just come here and do this? And I was like, because of money.
Yeah.
And they said, well, what if we paid you more? And I said, okay. I mean, that's as complicated as the process really gets. And then, it's all inside the same company. So they just said, okay, Dale's coming up here and we're going to move him and have him do the show here. And
so you're moving to Chattanooga?
No.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, he's still going to be a bum and do the show from his house every day.
Yeah. Yeah. My goal is to never move from this seat. I want to fuse into the chair at some point in time. So now I'm sitting here from 5 a.m. until 11 doing 2 different radio shows as opposed to doing 2 different radio shows up until 10.
Wow.
So I mean, do you mean to say Chattanooga's actually got some spare money to throw around?
Well, they did, yeah.
They used to. They don't anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore. I've gobbled it all up. And look, the reality is that this show is a lot harder. Personally, I mean, I'm only 2 days in, but it's a lot harder because it's not the same. Like, I knew Birmingham. Let's just be real about it. I lived there before. I've been in Alabama for 17 years. I understand the state. I understand it, the people. And now, although it's the same distance from where I live in Huntsville to Chattanooga, you're crossing the state line. Yeah, and you're crossing an international timeline too. So you're in a different time zone too. So it's a little different. So you got to learn a whole different area, learn the players and all these other things. But you have to do that every time you go and take a job somewhere else. I mean, a lot of people in radio understand that. And it's a great opportunity. And plus, once again, our business is a dumb business ran by dumb people making dumb decisions 90% of the time.
Yep.
And you want to make yourself as valuable as possible to those dumb people.
Yeah,
you probably shouldn't call them dumb. So great people.
Well, I mean, I think that's true in the sense of creating the value. And I've learned this over time because I worked for Crawford and I worked for a small station out in Anniston. This is kind of the first, big company radio job that I've worked for. And that's probably the biggest takeaway was, do whatever you can to create value for yourself. So
yeah, I mean, that's good advice for any job anywhere. I mean, that's the answer. And you try to, what you're trying to do is you're trying to protect yourself as much as you can.
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't work.
Or sometimes you don't have value.
Yeah, well, I will say this.
Whoa. Sometimes let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something right now, Dale Jackson. I believed in you when nobody else did. I believed in, and you know it.
Well, thank you.
Thanked you at every show. I believe in you, man. Believe it or not, I love you. No gay. I love you, man.
It's no homo, not no gay.
No, I just started it. Really? No homo.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Well, I appreciate that, John.
Hey, John Bird did create a lot of value for himself. I mean, to the point that I'm still getting taxed on the show about where's John Bird at, which tells me they don't listen to the show very often. But, he was. You remember? I mean, it was a pretty brutal departure, and nobody was happy about it.
Yeah, you get all these people who get connected to people, and this is good. And they say, "Well, where is he?" And we're supposed to do this thing where it's like, well, I can't talk about it. Unless I get that direct directive, I wasn't told that. So if people ask me, I just said, this business sucks. And sometimes people let go who don't get let go who don't deserve it. Yeah. That didn't happen here. Sometimes people get let go who do deserve it. And that's what happened. And that's why John Bird is gone. But the truth is, you say that it sucks and you really hate it. And that's the absolute honest to God truth. And we've all seen this before. We've all been around when this stuff happens, and it is just absolutely awful all the way around. And I don't think, as the people who make those decisions, that I know some care very much about the damage they have to wreak on people, and some don't care.
Yeah. No, I get it. Anyway,
actually, Dale,
I think that was Dale's way of saying he misses you.
Yeah, well, Dale was way ahead of it. Dale,
wait, Dale's over here.
Did you?
Oh, this way.
Dale,
right here.
Dale, if you remember, you gave me the 411 on that. You said, I think some cuts are coming down the line. I was like, what about Birmingham? You said, I think Birmingham is going to be okay.
He lied to you.
Yeah. Well, no, he didn't lie to me, but he did. He did predict it.
Yeah.
That, the cuts were coming.
Mm. Yeah, I saw all of this coming, and I saw a lot of cuts coming down the line, and it was getting close to that time, and I had a feeling something was up, but you never know. Yeah, you never absolutely know, because everyone keeps everyone else in the dark. I mean, it's just how the business is. For a communications business, we're really terrible at communicating.
Now, I got to say, I was not surprised at all, just because I read financial statements and balance sheets and income statements from companies. So I was not surprised at all by this. I was actually surprised it took this long for them to take action around the country,
Yeah, every time we walk in here, Tony recites the stock price of Cumulus, which then stresses everybody out, and we all have to
really
reset.
Tell the whole story, though.
Right?
I mean,
no, it doesn't.
There's a lot going on, and in every business, it's not as if Cumulus is a sinking ship or anything like that. There's value there. There's a lot of it, and the idea that that it's over is not really the case. What it is, it's just like every other business, except for government. Just like every other business, they get to the point where they want to be more profitable, and then and they go out about it in a way that maybe you don't agree with, but they're trying to figure out that way to get to that point where they are supposed to be for their shareholders and things like that.
Well, Dale, I got to stop you there. So with what you're saying, if they were making money, that'd be true, but they've been losing on average over $14 million a quarter. So what is that, $4.5 million per month?
Don't say they, say we. We've been losing money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try not to. I just bury my head in the
I
sand.
just saw lots of loss on the statements, and I knew eventually they were going to have to do something about their labor,
There's a lot of labor.
Meaning me.
Meaning that labor was out of
it's
there.
It's all good now.
Yes.
We fixed it all. So I don't know. I mean, you're a Florida guy. We are technically introducing you to the Bubba Army with this episode because this will be put on the Bubba Podcast Network.
I used to listen to Bubba the Love Sponge growing up.
Yeah, you're one of the few people that I worked with because, a lot of people around here didn't know who he was. But when I first mentioned him to you and told you how big of a fan I was, you were like, I know exactly who that is.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you my favorite Bubba the Love Sponge moment. It was he saved a guy's life who was trying to kill himself in his car. Now, on the air.
Unalive.
Yeah, Bubba, he came. Sorry, I forgot we're supposed to say those words. He was trying to unalive himself. Yeah, in Minecraft or whatever. So this guy was doing that in his vehicle, and he called Bubba the Love Sponge, and they tracked the number, and they got it. Maybe it was a radio bit, and I'm a dummy, but you should ask him about it.
No, I think that's real. I vaguely remember that. I think that actually happened. They also killed a pig live on air, and Hogan sex tape and all this kind of stuff.
After he killed the pig and got away with that, so to speak, he had a wrestling match against, I want to say Rikishi, I think, or something. Anyway, he had a wrestling match in Tampa, and I was there.
Really?
I saw he wore a pig mask down to the ring because he had just gotten absolved of that.
Yeah. I mean,
I know some Bubba lore.
They were going to nail him to the wall for that, too. I mean, they were trying to throw him in prison for having a professional hunter come slaughter a pig and do a pig roast for listeners.
Yeah. But like my legal problems, he did it.
Yeah.
so
you haven't, I mean, as far as legal.
It's a question of illegality, right? But
right.
He did do the thing.
Well, in your legal problems, outside of the Troy King thing and the alleged election interference that they tried to get you for, has there been anything else outside of that?
No, but I did do the alleged election interference. Like the things they said I did, but it wasn't illegal. They just tried to make it illegal. And this was sort of the same thing, I think, for Bubba the Love Sponge.
Yeah, well, Bubba's been a troublemaker for a long time. But I've been a fan for a very long time, so being able to team up with those guys, it's like, I'm still fanboying a little bit, I'll go to their live streams sometimes and type in, Good Morning Bubba Army, just so I can mingle with the people that are like me. Mm-hmm. But it's it's just a thing. It's fun. We're gonna hopefully we'll have him on.
It's interesting to see the projection of his career. He's had ups and downs and stuff like this, and he's been in a steady place the last couple of years. That's good.
Yes, he was at the top, at the peak. And then when the Hogan thing happened, I mean, it just rocketed to the bottom. I mean, bottom of the barrel. And he's told this on air. He said he was contemplating suicide at one point because he lost everything. $1 million homes, cars, everything. He lost everything on that deal. And what they have done since then, I guess from, around 2015, 2016, where they started leaning into the digital side of things. And, even when they lost their affiliates, they were streaming on Twitch. They then started streaming on other websites, and they were running off donations, like people, they're donating bits and super chats and everything.
On that front of
yes,
the
they
business.
were.
But it's kind of funny. Necessity breeds invention. They had that. They had to do that. That was a big part of it, and it worked. That's good. That's really good for him.
Yeah, those guys are on top of it. Also, Bubba told Tony he's wanting to go into business with him on a vape store in Tampa. He was going to call it Tampa Tony's Vape Emporium or something. And we might get into that. Now, I had somebody text me on the show today and said, when we bring you on the podcast, to ask you why you hate Delta 8 so much. And I don't know anything about it. I'm just relaying a text message.
I'm not a hater of Delta 8 per se. My entire take on it is as simple as this. What's wrong with the intoxicants we got? Do we really need a whole bunch of new ones? I mean, do we really need that? And what I mean by that is, and by the way, the way the law went down is what they're trying to do now, at least in the legislature, is they tried to ban it, and then they failed. And then the same guy turns around and goes, okay, how about this? How about we legalize it and tax it? And it's like, wait a second, how do you hold both positions? Either if you think it's like this wrong and immoral and we shouldn't do it, and then you lose a vote and you go, well, okay, all right. What if we just make it legal and available more?
Unless taxing it was the plan in the first place.
Right, but that's my point.
Remember what I told you, Andrew?
What's that?
Yeah.
I told you they were looking to tax the crap out of it months ago before they even did this.
Yeah, they were toying with an idea of like 40% or something crazy.
Well, I mean, Tony, you are an expert in this, right?
Yeah, I got the inside baseball just probably like you do on this. Yeah.
Well, I don't mean that. I'm talking about the business side.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What they want to do is, and I think this just seems reasonable to me, short of banning it, I wouldn't have my feelings hurt if they did that, but short of that, get it out of the convenience stores, get it into a place where you're going to check IDs, you're going to do it right.
Right.
And that would be putting it basically in your hands, right?
Right. And that's what we tried to get done because we knew that would stop the problem. However, our problem is that the gas stations had too much of a lobbyist thing going on. There's too much money behind the gas stations themselves, and they just weren't going to allow it happen. And I know the guy you're referring to is Melson would be the one, right? That you were talking about? Yeah. There's other ones involved. We introduced our own hemp bill this year for the first time ever. My wife's group, she's the VP of it this time, and they actually introduced our own hemp bill that's sponsored by, I believe, Stutz is the guy that sponsored ours this year. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, I mean, they need, and here's what's going to happen. They're going to come up with a way to do this, and then they're going to turn around and they'll be like a Delta 12. Or whatever. They'll come up with another version of it and then sell that at the convenience stores. It's an arms race. So what has to happen is they have to figure out a way to sort of incorporate what's coming into the current laws, or they're going to just be constantly going through this. I think because if they go to the vape shop and they say, okay, here we go, you guys can sell it here, then the next version, which, I mean, there's scientists working on this. This is like Breaking Bad almost, as opposed to some guys making it in a bathtub. But they're going to modify, and then they will have another name for it, and then it will appear in the convenience stores next to the lottery tickets they're selling illegally in the state of Alabama as well. So you have all these things happening in the state, and if you're gonna crack down on it, you got to crack down on it right, or you're just going to get another version of it.
Yeah, that's what happens. What needs to happen is, as we stated, only pass a bill that only lets the vape stores, the specialty stores that deal with those products in particular, let those guys be the ones to sell it. I know ABC store is not a good comparison, but, something generally like that instead of the gas stations where 99.9% of the underage kids that directly buy a vape or whatever, that's where they're getting it from. I say do that. I say do the same thing with some of this other stuff that they've been in the past. Kratom, for one, that's legal everywhere except for Alabama. Just get it out of the gas stations and sell it at specialty stores and be done with it. And tax it, too, if you want to. Alabama wants to tax everything anyway, so just give people the freedom to use what they want to use and meet in the middle, find a compromise on what is the best course of action to keep it out of the hands of kids. You're never going to be able to completely do that, but from what power you have, just play it smart. Attack it the right way.
Yeah. And then you have to
Go
actually...
ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dale.
Sorry, I was saying, and then you have to actually enforce it. And if you don't do that, none of it matters.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that Delta has saved my life, hasn't it, Tony?
It helps you sleep, yes.
It does. I have crippling anxiety. I also have crippling insomnia. And I have green apple. They have a lot of flavors. But I will bite one in half, and it's perfect. Don't take it away. Don't do it. I'll come
Yeah,
back.
Dale, don't take it away.
Oh, I know Dale won't.
Do
He's
you
my buddy.
buy that at a gas station?
No.
He gets it from Vaporforge.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
get some
understand.
Mars
That's my
by,
point. That's my point.
Yeah.
Now I got to say, all the vape shops stop. If somebody comes in and they look young, I mean, we hit them right away with the carding. But these gas stations, they're not only getting to themselves, they're just having somebody just walk in for them, and they're waiting outside. There's all
Yep.
these things that kids can do. And even when I was a kid, I was like 12 or something, and I was having somebody go get me cigarettes. You know, if you're a kid, you're going to find a way to get it one way or another. But 98 or 99% of the people they've caught have been gas stations. Per the records, it's like 257 out of 260 of them or something have been from gas stations.
So
Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious.
with all of this, the answer to my original question, why does Del Jackson hate Delta 8? The answer is because you prefer other intoxicants.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. No, if I had my way, I would ban medical marijuana all the way across the board. That's what I would do.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Absolutely. I've never bought into the idea that we have this intoxicant, so we have to have this intoxicant. I don't buy it. I think that's kind of silly. It's just a simplification. But I have my way.
But what
So
about as far as the medical side, though? If we're just talking medical side, and there are people that benefit from it, what is your argument against that?
From it, there are really two groups of people that benefit from medical marijuana. One, it's the people who have seizures and stuff like that, and it cuts down on those significantly. And then it's the people dealing with pain or people who have issues eating and stuff like that because of whatever they're going through. You're not medical marijuana is kind of a misnomer marketing, in my opinion, because nobody's like, oh, I took this marijuana and it cleared up my ailment. No, it helps you deal with the ailment.
Right.
And that's really what it's about. And again, if that were what it was for, sure. But you remember when this medical marijuana thing was passing, there were a lot of people in the medical marijuana community that were like, no, don't accept this. Don't pass this. They were upset about it because it didn't allow recreational, which in the end is the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you stories. I was flying to Las Vegas. And like I said, some intoxicants are okay. Some intoxicants are not, right? So I'm flying to Las Vegas. I'm going to spend the entire weekend drinking Red Bulls and vodka to the point where half my face turns red. And that's what I'm going to be doing there. On my way there, the guy sitting next to me is like, hey, I got a guy in Las Vegas who we can go to, and he'll give us medical marijuana cards, and we can do whatever we want. I'm like, cool, man, not interested, not interested. I think you're going to cut my kidney out or something. But that's really, in a lot of places, that's how it's used. Oh, I have a hurt back, give me medical marijuana, and they smoke it, and whatever. That's fine if that's what they want to do. I just don't think that's good. Reason, a perfect example, for the first time ever, DUIs for THC have surpassed DUIs for alcohol. Now, why is that? Well, when you get out and go get ripped, you are already saying, hey, I'm going to get an Uber, I'm going to drive home. Or I'm going to have someone else drive me home. But when you smoke weed, what do you say? I'm fine. I can handle this.
But the wrecks are all happening at 20 miles an hour, though. That's the good news. People are just ending up in fender benders because
in some
they're
cases,
driving so slow.
yes. No, but overall, the numbers are higher for THC than it is for alcohol at this point. And I think a lot of that has to do with Ubers more than anything else.
Yeah. Well, and as far as medication, medical marijuana, just treating, not curing an ailment, but treating it and trying to alleviate it, some pain management. I mean, isn't that what everything Big Pharma gives us does? Like, they don't ever cure anything. They just give you something to alleviate what you got going on and give you 20 more side effects.
I mean, I think they'd like to cure it because that would be worth a lot of money to them if they did. But you're right. Treat symptoms and things like that. That's also yeah. It's part of the game too.
Let's see. What else do I got? Okay, we want you. And I say we. I think the audience wants this. We want you, Del Jackson, to say one nice thing about John Bird. Maybe one thing you miss about John Bird.
John Bird has all of the traits that most people would assume are made up by a human male.
I don't know what that means either.
What the hell does that mean, Dale?
John Bird is actually a very. You could throw curveballs at John Bird all day, and John Bird is gonna hit most. And this guy is very helpful when things are going wrong. He's very helpful. Now, at the same time, he's causing some of those problems sometimes, but he is very helpful at times. And look, me and John Bird, well, I mean, we worked together for a couple of years. Every day. So
I had a blast.
I think John did a great job.
Yeah. Well, that's very sweet. I didn't expect that.
Just think about this. You're going to be getting Where's John Bird until the day you die.
No, not till the day I die, because I'm going to get him back one way or another. I'm bringing him back. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but that is my goal. And I firmly believe I can pull it off. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take me.
Did you go to them after I left and said, why don't you let him come back?
Yeah. We've been talking about it. I've
said?
Well, you got to think, everybody locally wants him back. So it's up the ladder to places that I can't reach. But I'm talking to my people locally and saying, please do everything you can in your power to at least get this guy back part-time, or, whatever we can carve out for the man. Just bring him back.
I've negotiated for $5 an hour. I think that's pretty good.
That's fair. That is more than fair.
Yeah.
So,
well, in some states, the minimum wage is a little less if you have a mental disability.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We call it a 62, okay?
Oh, my God. You guys are brutal.
It's a 62.
By the way,
trying to help you.
Well, let me tell you, Dale, Chattanooga's a beautiful place.
I love it.
Don't forget, I am coming to stay with you at some point. I'm playing at a lot of different places. I want to play some in Huntsville. So I am coming to mooch off of you.
When is that?
Let's put.
I'm busy that.
No, you're not. No, you're not, Dale. You'll roll out the red carpet for me.
I absolutely will. Absolutely will.
See? And then when you go, whenever you need to go to Chattanooga for an event or anything, take me. I can tell you all the great places.
Okay.
Like the Walking Bridge, and then they have the burger joint downtown. Then they have this little art thing, and there's this old dog named Sammy, and he comes out. Well, he's probably dead by now, but he came out to greet you. A lot of great places there.
I appreciate that.
John Bird, the tour guide.
Mm-hmm.
So do we want to, we won't keep you, but do we want to clarify for the audience, because there are many people in the audience that think that I pushed you out, and I think they feel that way because you said that on the air. But is there anything you want to add to what you said on your last day when you left 99.5?
Yeah, I was planning on staying at Talk 99.5 until the day I died. I had an ironclad contract, but Andrew McLean insisted. He went into the office one day and said, if I don't get 4 hours, I will quit my job tomorrow. And they came to me and they said, will you do 4 hours instead of Andrew? And I'm like, look, he's got a kid. He's married. He needs all the help he can get. I said, you know what? I already have 2 shows. He can have this. And off I went. So it was, you pushed me out, but not by force. More like it was, I left as a sign of sympathy for you.
Well, the way I kind of looked at it is, you had asked me quite a few times to fill in for your hour when you have stuff going on, and I only accepted that offer about 30% of the time, if that. And I feel like that this was maybe my punishment for not doing that 4th hour for you those few times, and now I got to do it every single day. And my schedule, man, is tight, and I've been like flying in on 2 wheels, barely making it to work. It's a whole thing.
4 hours is no joke. I mean, it's not. It's hard to do, and it's something that you have to be really prepared for. Because even though you could repeat something in the 3rd hour, you've already know you, and you'll start to feel it a little bit, and it won't be the same as the first time you hit it. And I think we all run into that kind of stuff, the recycling stuff. They'll tell you can recycle stuff, you can do all these things, but it doesn't feel the same. So it requires a whole lot more preparation.
Yeah, I don't like doing recycle stuff.
I want to mention something to Dale, if I could. This is a pretty important statement.
He's over here.
I've got to go use the bathroom, so I will be right back. But it's number 1, not number 2. So you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Okay,
Dale,
thank you.
okay, I just wanted to let you know. Okay.
Good information.
Now, I got a question, Dale. Now that you're doing the Chattanooga thing, do you still have your connections or whatever you want to say with the people in Alabama, all the politicians?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still doing WVNN in Huntsville.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah. So all I did was replace the Talk 995 thing with the Chattanooga thing.
So what does that mean, that the Montgomery deal is gone?
Yes. Yeah. All that's over.
Were you still on in Montgomery on your last day on Friday?
Yeah, Montgomery. It was on in Huntsville. It was on in Montgomery. It was on in Birmingham. So
gotcha.
little network there, and look, being a local talk show host is far more profitable than being sort of a network talk show host. I mean, it is, unless you have like 100 stations. If you can get like 100 stations, then it's far more profitable with that. But locally, getting those local sales dollars, that as much as anyone else. That it's far more profitable to have a local talk show. And really, let me look at Talk 995, look at WVNN, look at Talk 102.3 in Chattanooga. You look at all those stations, all of them are live all day. They are,
and they're making money.
On VNN, we have one network show between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. You guys in Talk 995 have all network shows, or all local live shows. From 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. In Chattanooga, from 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. It is all local live shows. All of those. That is where the listenership comes in, the connection with the local community. All that stuff comes in, and there's more opportunities to make money than plugging in a network show, which on its face seems cheaper. But if you can sell correctly, then you'll be in better shape.
And if you got a good host, you got to have good hosts during those hours. And I think we've pretty much accomplished that.
I think so.
And I don't know about Chattanooga, but what's the host up there? What's their names?
Well, here's the thing. I'll just say this. The thing about Talk 995 that's unique is you guys have had some variation of the same thing for almost a decade now. I mean, it's been generally the same. You're the newest person on there, and you've been there how long?
Into 21?
Yeah, it was
right.
December
and Valerie
21.
And Leland and all of them have been there since the beginning of the flip and all that stuff. I mean, that's kind of rare in this business. I've been in the same place for 17 years. The morning show in Chattanooga has been there for 30 years.
Wow.
The sports show in the evening has been there for 15 years. So there's all this stuff going on there. And that station's like a mishmash station. It is not all politics or anything like that. I mean, there's a financial show in the middle of the day. There's a sports show in the evening. They all do great.
Interesting. Well, Dale, we appreciate you, buddy. And don't be a stranger.
I got one final question for Dale.
Sure.
This is a little personal. I remember driving in my car listening to you right after the jab rollout. And at that time, you were telling everybody they were wusses and to just go get the thing, and that even Trump got it. So I was just wondering your feelings on the jab nowadays, if it's changed at all.
Yeah. Said this 1,000 times. I'll repeat it here right now. Huge mistake, which I realized rather instantly.
Yeah, that means a lot to Tony Gump.
That's bothered me for years now. I'm like, that guy I was driving, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what the hell?
Keep this in mind. I single-handedly ended the vaccine mandate inside the state of Alabama for employers. It is now illegal in the state of Alabama for a private employer to mandate you get the vaccine. It is illegal. I single-handedly made that happen.
Yes.
And so the problem that I think a lot of people have with how the whole jab thing has gone is that a lot of people didn't admit their mistakes. You're allowed to be wrong. I mean, good Lord, if you weren't allowed to be wrong, Andrew McLean, what would he do all day? So
right.
You are allowed to be wrong. And you can say, look, I've made a mistake. It's all right to do that. And anyone who isn't willing to do that, I just don't understand the purpose. There's no prize to continuing to think that you're correct. Mistakes were made. The 6 foot thing was completely made up.
Yep.
If you bought in early on to the idea that these people knew what they were doing and were being legit with you, then you made a mistake. I'm one of those people, 100%. But if you did not change your position based on the information we had, well, then you were being dishonest with people. And there are a lot of people who still are pretending that was all legit, and it wasn't. And that's one of the reasons why. Look at the FDA. Look at the CDC today. Look at all the firings. Nobody cares. The reason, because they've lost faith in their government. They've lost faith in their media. And it's one of the reasons that guys like me can run around saying I'm Alabama's most trusted journalist, because there are no trusted journalists anymore. Nobody trusts these people.
That's a good point.
They've lost all of their credibility. And that is a big part of why nobody trusts any institution anymore, be it a bank, a doctor, the government, the media, you name it.
Well, we appreciate you saying that. Tony Gump actually has not slept since you made those comments back in 2020, so he'll be able to get some sleep.
I bring it up every few months to Andrew. I'm like, I remember that one time, you know.
I always forget to bring it up to you. I've been meaning to, but
that's fine with me. I made a mistake. I was wrong.
Well, you got my respect now, Dale. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. That is all I wanted out of this whole thing is your respect.
What about John Bird? He says you got his as well.
No. Is he still in the bathroom?
No, he's ready.
I'm right.
By the way,
freaking here.
By the way, 0% chance he washed his hands.
Did you wash your hands?
Sure did. They smell
0% chance.
That's not
0%.
true. And
I have a kid who's 6. I know about this quick return. 0%.
No, and I put
the 30% chance he didn't even flush the toilet.
Not true. I put the lid down that's left over from my former marriage. I always put the lid down, and I wash my hands. Now, number 2, that's a different story. But when I pee, I make sure that I always do.
What?
Anyway, we're going to let Dale go because he's never going to come on this podcast again.
Virtual hug.
Yeah, keep it virtual. Go wash your hands.
He just hugs you with his non-washed hands.
Thank you, Dale.
All right, Dale. Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. There's Dale Jackson, everybody.
Wow. Yeah, man. That's good to see Dale.
Yes.
Really is.
I'm glad he cleared some things up.
Me too.
Well, yeah, especially for Tony Gump. But as far as the show stuff goes, you know, now people kind of understand what happened. I will say his microphone sucks, and I wish we had a better deal. I feel like we dealt with the same thing with Lummy, so I wonder if it's something on our end.
No, because
Lummy didn't have a mic. He was using the computer, wasn't he?
He used the computer
his
first.
got fixed after that happened. There was just a little popping with Dale. I'll have to check that out.
He was Lummy swapped to his cell phone,
right?
And that's
that
when it started working good. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, Dale, we had some issues back in the day, and I helped him, you know, through
with his podding into the station from there.
Yeah, but the thing is, we got it sounding pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it's not sounding good. You know,
because you're not working with him anymore.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Because I got let go. Everybody, you know that? November 19th, I got let go. Just.
He had to quit 99.5. It got so bad. He's like,
downsize.
If I can't be here, I'm gone. Anyway, yeah, I appreciate him coming on. It's his second appearance on here. First time he was in studio. Yeah. And
sorry I asked so many questions. I had to know what I had
You've been
to know.
sitting on those a while. We knew you had to get those out.
You had to get those
We couldn't
out.
blame you.
And the hemp thing too, you know.
We're so high tech now. Did you say he was in another place? He was in Huntsville.
As of right now, so this morning I get up and I notice on YouTube and all this that Cory Booker, you're familiar with Cory Booker, he had been filibustering on the Senate floor, speaking for, I think it was like 12 or 13 hours when I woke up. He was speaking all night because he's trying to block a spending bill that Republicans are about to pass. It is now approximately, give or take, 10 hours since then, say 8 hours since then. He is still speaking on the floor.
Does he have to pee in a bottle or something?
I don't know what he's doing, but he's
pulling
been
a Smitherman.
It's like 21 hours. Yeah, our boy Smitherman did this and saved us. I forgot. But Cory Booker is no Smitherman.
No.
There's no doubt about it. This is Cory Booker just from moments ago on the Senate floor.
to call to the conscience of this nation.
Key and Peele.
Say, I will not stand for another American to lose their
It's
health
like Key
care
and Peele.
for a billionaire.
Look, he
I will
looks
not
like he's
stand
out of
for
his
another
mind.
veteran
Yes, he does.
who's
Look at the
dedicated to
eyes.
stopping the suicide of other veterans to lose their job. I won't stand for the air quality in my community to be worse because they're letting polluters pollute more. I won't stand for the collective
Is he on an
assault
Alex
on
Jones
the
supplement or
Constitution
something?
by a man
He's
who
on that
even
blue
the
ethylene.
highest
Yeah.
judge in our land, a Republican-appointed judge, said stop threatening and bullying other branches of government. When is
his
it going
eyes.
to be enough? My voice is inadequate. My efforts today are inadequate
Your ding-a-ling doesn't work either,
to
probably.
stop what they're trying to do. But we, the people, are powerful. We are strong. We have changed history.
Whoa.
That's why we got these liberals out of it.
He better quit saying, "Whoa, Tim Walz is going to show up." Is that a horse?
God bless America. We need you now. God
Oh,
bless
they need
America.
God
If
now.
you
Now
love
they
her,
need God.
If you love your neighbor, if you love this country, show your love. Stop them from doing what they're trying to do for almost 20 hours. We have laid out what they're trying to do.
Okay, enough of that. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I don't know what he's got going on. So 20 plus hours in, and there's Cory Booker. I don't know what he's trying to accomplish, but he's just wasting time.
He's on something.
Yeah, he's just showboating is what he's doing. They're trying to, just like Dale said in radio, you got to, what do you say, build your worth, or build up your value.
Right. And sometimes it doesn't work.
And that's
But most of the time it does.
most of the time it does. There's that 60. There's a 6% chance.
Yes.
Which John Bird fell in. That 6%.
That'd be a 60%
Fixty,
Yes.
a fixed percent chance. We mentioned that Dale Jackson was making an appearance on the Bubba Army podcast network. There's some weird stuff going on in Tampa, and I don't know if I need to reach out to these guys and see exactly what that is, but I came across this afternoon, and apparently this is some sort of parade in Tampa. That's according to the captions. Okay, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that this is in fact in Tampa.
This is not a Georgia Bulldogs rally or nothing.
No.
We're going to get dinged for music.
So, do you have to be gay to do puppy play? I'm assuming that's what this is. Because remember, you had the Sam Brinkman. What's his name? What was his
Sam Fried?
No.
Bankman-Fried?
No, the bald guy that was the nuclear waste dude for the Biden administration.
Oh, yeah.
Sam.
Mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like Matt Damon, kind of.
Yeah, he got into puppy play, or he was doing some sort of weird puppy play fetish, and that's what this is. But it seems like everybody that's involved in this is gay. Like, is that a requirement is what I'm asking. Do you have to be gay to do this? Not that I want to do it. I'm just like...
You know what? Maybe the next one they have, I'll infiltrate it.
You do a little puppy play?
Yeah.
Do I?
I mean, I won't literally do the puppy play, but I've got my top secret glasses. Have a little camera in there.
Yeah.
I can infiltrate their meeting and say, Trump bad.
Roof.
Trump is bad.
Woof, woof.
Woof. Something like that.
Woof. Any gay dogs here? Woof, woof. This also happened in Florida as well. This guy is a self-proclaimed soy boy and is very concerned about Republicans and conservatives going after things that are very important to this country.
Uh-oh.
I am a proud soy boy. I am a 6'5" vegetarian powered almost exclusively by tofu and soy milk. I'm the guy bringing Beyond Burgers to the barbecue. And yet, despite what this bill seems to imply, big agriculture does not need protection from big, scary soy boys like me. I mean, look at me. I'm basically the Jolly Green Giant. The free market is supposed to let consumers decide what they want to eat. But apparently, big ag needs the state government to step in and make sure no one confuses an oat milk latte for cow milk. And while we're at it, let's talk about the fluoride ban. Fluoridated water is one of the most successful public health initiatives of all time. Are we really saying that the water is too woke now? That we need to give kids cavities to own the libs? Banning fluoride isn't policymaking. It's pandering to conspiracy theorists. At the end of the day, HB 651 isn't about protecting consumers. It's about protecting your buddies in big agriculture, using the power of the state to prop up their profits. So go ahead and make your jokes about soy boys and woke water, but let's not pretend that this bill is anything other than corporate handouts wrapped in tinfoil hat logic.
Okay, so how can anybody make the argument that fluoride in the water is good? The fluoride in the water is not preventing cavities, first of all. The kids that aren't brushing their teeth are probably drinking sodas all day. Okay?
Yeah.
First of all.
Yep.
Second of all, fluoride may be good for your teeth, but that's what your toothpaste is for.
Exactly.
Not for you to ingest fluoride. That is insanity that that's even a thing. That it was even allowed to happen. Good Lord.
I do remember a couple years ago, there was somebody that got in trouble for not putting the fluoride in the water in some city or county in New England somewhere. They had done their research, and they were secretly not putting fluoride in the water, and after so many months, somebody caught them, and they got fired, and they got fined, and had lots of problems after that. But I wonder what that situation's like now.
Then the whole town died of cavities.
Are you serious?
It wiped out an entire community.
But they gained a couple IQ points taking it out.
They were smart, but they died from
I
cavities.
tell you what. I mean, fluoride. Okay, if fluoride is in the water, and then you wash clothes, shouldn't your clothes be brighter? Because fluoride is supposed to make your teeth.
All your clothes should be white,
Well,
even the
they're not.
colored ones.
They're not. They're dull.
Now, technically, if you go and take a shower, you're going to get fluoride in your system because apparently it soaks through the skin, and so do a couple other chemicals.
What if it bleaches your skin, and then it gets putting fluoride in the water? You're trying to get rid of black people? Are you racist?
I never thought about that. When did they first put fluoride in?
Democrats back in the 50s and 60s when the Klan was around.
Yeah, the mind control stuff.
We're gonna make everybody right. Everybody's gonna be white. Jasper, get in the truck.
We're gonna have rotten teeth, but them gonna be white.
Condoleezza Rice.
I mean, this is
Mexican dish.
yeah, I mean, the only time I really use water is to pee in it. I have bottled water.
So
Most bottled water has fluoride in it. Most of it does.
Shit.
And
It has to be
Serious?
distilled to not have it in it.
and microplastics.
Yep.
What do you do then? I guess they've got that thing at the whatchamacallit store. That
Brita
has-
filter?
Whatchamacallit? No, the thing where you can reuse your pee. You put it in there and use around, and maybe maybe you do this for vacation. You go like to Yellowstone or whatever, and you drink from one of those areas that's supposed to be crystal, pure and all that.
Yeah.
So you fill up on that, then you pee, then you treat it, and you can continue to use it. That might be a good idea. Because I don't know what fluoride's done to me.
Oh, it's made you who you are.
They should make that a requirement. If a big manufacturer of a water filtration system comes out and they got to get approved, for them to sell it, they need to pee in the water filtration system and then drink afterwards just to verify that it's going to
Call a
work.
press conference and have the CEO drink his own pee.
Yeah.
You can blur out his wee willy winker, but you have to see him pee in there. You have to see the stream of urine go in there. Then they put their little whatever and
You have to see it to pee it.
yeah,
And believe it.
That's right. See it to pee it to believe it.
So before we're already running out of time.
Yeah.
We held Del Jackson on way too long. Speaking of this, soy boy, woke, everything else. Woke, as I feel like it's dying in society, it has infiltrated some of the most sacred places, sacred parts of society. And one of those places is the church. There is a church in Atlanta called North Point, and they had just...
I've been to that church.
Have you? Mm-hmm. They just put out an instructional video, or I guess a tutorial type of thing, for their members on how to appropriately deal with and address trans kids. and how to accept them for who they
That's
are.
not the church it used to be. I'm telling you.
This is the video right here. Check this out.
Here's the thing. We know that if we create a safe place, more students will share things with us that are difficult to navigate. So I want to talk through how we care for students who are experiencing gender dysphoria. Now, gender dysphoria, this is a weird term. We don't hear it a lot. Basically, this is the clinical term used for anyone who is unsure about their own gender. Dysphoria is the opposite of euphoria. Euphoria is like joy, happiness, contentment, excitement over a situation. Gender dysphoria is like they're not comfortable. They don't have joy over it. They're not sure where they land. So this is the umbrella term for several different terms that could be underneath gender dysphoria.
Oh, God,
the terms transgender or
here we go.
non-binary are some sample terms that an adult might use to describe who they are if they're trying to figure out their gender. Our goal in these situations is to best support the student and the family. Now, this is an extremely small part of the population. It's more likely they won't happen in your small group in middle school, but we want to make sure we're prepared and we've thought through how to best care for these students. Our goal is to first understand
Just
where
put the
student
camera
is
on
in their
John
journey.
Bird's face while this
Now,
plays.
through the years, we've gotten to know several families. There's one family in particular that's very helpful for me. Their journey first started when their student was 5 years old.
Oh, my
So it was before any of the middle school hormones of what's going on could even take place. And these parents handled
That's
it
devil
so well
stuff
and took
there.
every
That's
step
devil
so
stuff there.
slowly. This family first started going to a child psychologist and seeing a medical specialist. Every time they started using different pronouns at home, but only at home. They were not using these pronouns in school. They weren't even asking extended family to use those pronouns yet. They weren't asking friends to do it yet. Then a big step was to pick a new name from the other gender so they could start using that. But once again, only the new name around the home. And they could start wearing different clothing, first just one day a week, once again, only at the home. The next big step was going to the extended family, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins.
Oh, yeah,
and saying,
Grandpappy's gonna
we need to start
love
using
this.
this
Yeah.
name and these pronouns for our child. Now, somewhere along the way, medical intervention started for this student. If we're talking about something in middle school, more than likely medical injections are going to be about stopping puberty as opposed to having a surgery. That will probably come later in life. It will be
Okay,
just a matter of
that's enough. That's enough. We got all the way to the surgery part. And confirm. Wait, read that leaked training video from Atlanta area megachurch North Point advises Christian leaders teaching 11 through 14-year-olds to affirm trans children by using their preferred pronouns. I just wanted to make sure I was addressing the correct church, which apparently I was.
I'm telling you, this church used to be a wonderful place. I'd gone several times, and they had, because I was watching, they had a great children's ministry, music ministry. You know, I did. And
See how that's going now.
I don't know what maybe they're playing Black Sabbath or something now to lead worship. I don't know.
It's called the trans ministry.
I feel like Barney's involved somehow with the kids. I don't know.
I love you. God, man, that I'm depressed.
I didn't mean. Let's go a different route. Same topic, but
Okay.
same thing. Church. Let's stay with church.
Okay.
But a different route.
All right.
So this, and you back out of this real quick, Tony, so I can read the caption. Legendary gospel singer Marvin Sapp held his entire church hostage until they raised $40,000 in offering money. He demanded that the church doors be locked until the funds were accumulated, preventing any of his members from leaving. So let's try this out.
Tithing
And
by
they understand the
hostage.
cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors.
It's like
Close the
kidnapping.
doors.
Yeah.
Close the doors. We all gonna leave together.
You're going to drink the Kool-Aid.
Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant.
That guy to his left ain't having none of it.
There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000
He's pointing
that's
at you.
watching online.
Talking to me.
This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000
What's up with the
tonight.
background music?
I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. I just think $20 is a lot of money. $20, believe it or not, when my late wife, Melinda P. Sapp, was alive, was a good date. I could take her to the movies, buy a box of popcorn, get one soda,
not taint.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't cheap. That's swag. I was looking in her eyes. She's looking in mine.
Yeah. Give me 20.
Can't do that no more.
Here's a funny story. Give me $20.
Now, everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100.
Oh, God.
Because again, it costs to sit up here.
They're like, dude, we donate our time and our energy.
It costs to sit up there. It's
So put your 20 away, preachers.
Y'all on the golden pew, the golden
That 20 wasn't
pew.
for you. And this is what I need you to do. If you're giving electronically, or even if you're giving tangibly, I'm gonna have y'all come to the altar and give it, because I need to see 1,000 people moving.
He wants to see who comes and who
Bring them
doesn't.
baskets.
Yep,
I
you got
want the
that
baskets
right.
up here. I want to see the folk. Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come.
And turn your
Even if
face
you're
to the
giving
camera.
Tangibly, just put your hand on the. Take your phone and stick it on the
thing.
bucket.
Wait, take your phone. What does he mean? He's asking people to do Apple Pay?
Tap, yeah.
I thought you meant to give up your phones.
All right. So if a church has got tap to pay, I mean, that sounds like a business, not a church.
That's exactly what it. Actually, not even a business. I mean, they're closing the doors and won't let them out.
The church could have a tap to pay system. I could honestly see that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bizarre unless your preacher's talking like this.
Yeah. He's pushing. I mean, it's a televangelist. Soon as they get on the radio, on TV, on the internet, it's over with.
What about Kenneth Copeland? How you feel about him?
Let me tell you something about Kenneth Copeland. Here's the way I'm gonna do.
Is it Kenneth Copeland?
I do Copeland. I do a pretty good impersonation of his eyes. You ready?
Okay.
All right.
pull up Kenneth Copeland COVID-19 remix on YouTube. And I want you to look at the camera as we play this. I want you to stare into the camera with your Kenneth Copeland deal.
Okay.
There you go.
This one?
Yep.
All right. What?
Standing in the office of the prophet of God, I execute judgment on you, COVID-19. I execute judgment on you, Satan, you destroyer, you killer. You get out. We break your power. You get off this nation. I demand judgment on you. I demand a vaccination to come immediately.
Yes.
Okay, let's go. You took it too far, buddy. You took it too far. We got that vaccine a little too fast. Just a little. All right, now type it in the search right there. Type in Kenneth Copeland COVID-19 remix. Or COVID-19 song. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, try that one.
Burn this thing. Bow your knee.
Yeah.
Heat. COVID-19. Burn this thing. Bow your knee. Heat. COVID-19. Stop winning. I'm blow. Strong.
Okay. That's what. Back out of that. Because there's one. I got to figure out which one's the original one. That's the actual
rock remix.
Maybe COVID-19 rap song. Try that.
Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord. COVID-19. 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 I blow the wind of God.
Look at that face.
From the state of Washington to the state of Maine to Brownsville, Texas, and the tip of Florida. Today, we speak to this atmosphere. Today, burn this thing. This virus hates heat. You just burn this thing. Burn. I call for a supernatural heat wave straight out of hell. Burn. COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19.
That's enough of that. That's enough of that.
I was getting some Alex Jones vibes for a second.
Yeah, we got out of control on that one.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, we got to do final words. We've gone over our time limit, which is okay. But let's go ahead and dip out of here. Tony Gump, your final words.
Final words. Thanks to Dale Jackson for coming on. Hello, Bubba Army. Get plenty of water, meat, sunlight, and sleep. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow with the whole tax thing, with the tariffs. That's going to be interesting.
Liberation Day, as they call it.
Liberation Day.
Yes.
John Bird.
I said something that was untrue earlier. I do wash my hands when I defecate. And actually, thanks to Tony and the bidet he gave me, it works really well where you don't have to do a lot of wiping, but you still want to wash your hands because those little defecation atoms or whatever they are.
Dangleberries?
No, worse than dangleberries.
Particles.
Yes.
He calls them defecation atoms.
I've never heard of
that. Yes. Yeah, that's high tech. But you have to be careful.
Doo-doo nucleus.
Because, you know, when you open the door of the bathroom, there you go, defecation atoms.
All over the door.
When I give you a big hug or Tony a big hug, defecation atoms.
Wiping it all over my back.
Yeah. And you don't want to do that. So I do wash my hands. I do stay on the bidet a little bit too long. So if you have a bidet, don't just sit there and let the water hit your butthole.
Do you ever like kind of sit a little further back where it splashes like the backside of your balls and you're like, with the balls in the wind?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but it has a little, circular thing.
Oh, so you get a little massage.
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
Yes. So, and my prostate's in great shape.
I bet it is.
So
very clean.
Anyway, all this to say, cleanliness, they say, is next to godliness, and I know that's not exactly what it means, but God does want you to have clean hands. I want you to have clean hands. I don't want those defecation atoms in the air, and you don't either. So think about that next time you're using the bathroom and I don't have time to wash my hands. You think defecation atoms.
What great advice.
Thank you.
And with
I
that,
think so.
Until next time. See you, cuz!